commentator is John Russell.
The Phantom, another of the strong New Zealand contingent here today. And over the Cups Carnival here in Melbourne. Better Loosen Up, champion weight for age galloper coming up to the outside. They'll soon be ready. King's High goes in. And they're all set to go. In the 1990 WS Cox plate, lights on. Ready. Stand by for a start. They're off. Great start too, and one of the first to get going towards the outside. St Jude bounded out quickly with Horlicks, and Better Loosen Up commenced well. And down towards the inside, Stylish Century is going very fast, followed by Kenny Ladd, and dropping back a little on the inside as Citizen as they come down to the judge. They were being followed by Integra a bit further back. Then Better Loosen Up has got back to third last on the outside of Shazura. And the Phantom has dropped out to last. Going into the straight, 1,650 metres left to go. And Stylish Century has dashed away. And down the side they travel. Stylish Century setting a merry bid. About for 5 or 6 lengths in advance of Horlicks, who's second on the outside of King's High. A length and a half then to Kenny Ladd in a handy position. He was followed closely by St Jude. A length and a half Citizen over on the inside. And then there's a break to Lord Revenant, who's trapped 3 deep, followed by Integra. A length and a half further back then over on the inside. Just behind them is the Phantom last of all. And Better Loosen Up is second last. Now this leader's dashed away past the 1,200. Stylish Century out in his own, led 15 lengths. King's High is second, 3 lengths to Horlicks. A length and a half St Jude on the outside of Kenny Ladd and Citizen making ground, and they were being followed then by Lord Revenant. A length and a half Integra, followed by Better Loosen Up. Shazura on the inside is second last, and the Phantom is last of all. This leader well clear, coming down the side, 900 to go in the Cox plate of Stylish Century. He's making every post a winner. He's 10 lengths to King's High. A length and a half St Jude, followed by Horlicks in the box seater. Kenny Ladd is making his run, 2 lengths away. Citizen starting to run on. Lord Revenant hard ridden next is Better Loosen Up, followed by the Phantom. Integra second last as they race down the side past the 600. Stylish Century coming back to the field, led 5 lengths. St Jude a half length to Kenny Ladd. Citizen now under a bit of pressure, 2 lengths away as Horlicks. They're followed next by Better Loosen Up as they round the home turn, and the Phantom is making ground. Integra back behind them, and dropping out to last now is Lord Revenant on the home turn. Stylish Century tackled by Kenny Ladd, and here comes Citizen with a great burst of speed as they straighten up. 200 to go. Kenny Ladd about to be tackled by Citizen, and Better Loosen Up is finishing very fast down the outside. Citizen takes the lead, but Better Loosen Up is coming at Citizen. Better Loosen Up on the outside. Citizen, Better Loosen Up takes the lead. Better Loosen Up has won the Cox plate. A neck to Citizen. Kenny Ladd third. The Phantom a very good run fourth, followed by Stylish Century. And backman behind them then. At the head of the others came Lord Revenant. They were followed by Horlicks, and a good long way back in the field to St Jude. Followed next home well back by Shazura, Integra, and one of the last to finish is King's High.
Oh, Better Loosen Up there, the unofficial winner of the WS Cox plate, as that one spade away towards mid-wicket.
And what a great ride.
Silver Slipper Stakes.
Now, Mare Cherie moves up to complete the line, and they look to be all set and ready for a start in the Diners Club Silver Slipper. Starter Billy Dale onto his rostrum has the button, and they're all set and ready. Dynamic Herald faces up well. Maskin perfectly behaved, but 1 or 2 of the riders not happy. They're off now. T.S. and Cannonball Bill are both a little bit slow to move at the start. Honeybee Quick bounced out in front of Zinders. Charday from that wide gate is mustering pace, and right up there with them is So Closure. Mare Cherie is driving through into a good spot, followed by Finest, and then Enjoy Dancing. Smooth as next. Cannonball Bill midfield, trapped deep on the fence. Zinders a gap then, getting well back in the field. Dynamic Herald. Maskin is a mile out of the ground at that point, followed by Target Range, and last of all is TS at the 600 mark, and Charday crossing from the extreme outside went to the lead over So Closure. Finest on the outside as they come around the turn right off the track. Enjoy Dancing and Honeybee Quick is up in the firing line. On the fence behind those Mare Cherie, followed by Zinders, and then Maskin under heavy pressure. Charday the leader, 300 out, tackled by Honeybee Quick on the outside. So Closure's gone. Mare Cherie running on gamely, followed by Zinders. Honeybee Quick got to the lead inside the 200. Charday fighting back. Zinders wide out is running home hard, but Honeybee Quick is race clear near the post, and a Silver Slipper coming up for the Chicken Kings. Honeybee Quick is too good and scored well, tight for second. Zinders and So Closure, and behind those Charday, Mare Cherie, Cannonball Bill, Maskin, T.S., and then Finest, Enjoy Dancing, Target Range, Dynamic Herald, and Smooth is last in the Diners Club Silver Slipper. What a day for the Chicken Kings. That's their third win on the program so far. Anslus Sanction. They were narrowly beaten with Forthwith in race 4, and they're home in the Silver Slipper Stakes with a very gutsy filly in number 11, Honeybee Quick. Now, the approximate return will be about 860 and 190, but there appears to have been a tote malfunction. So there could be changes to that, but was showing a short time ago 860 and 190. Now, it's very close for the placings between Zinders, finishing fast on the outside, 220, and So Closure, which looked like dropping out of the race but got going again, and So Closure, a place dividend of around about $4.10. As we go back to the FAI Cup cricket at the Wacker.
Rosehill, your commentator is Johnny Tapp.
Off and running, flags down, and they'll be in view in just a matter of moments. And here they come, and Campania is the leader when they get going over Plume d'Orvais. Noble Clubs on the outside. His rider seems to be in two minds about whether to lead or not as they go over that first crossing. English Garden next on the inside of So Fast, and then Take Over Battle, followed by Mr. Money Market. My Dark Rebel is well back within the money, and Star Kayaru on the outside is last in the run to the first turn. Ken Russell sized up the situation here. Nobody wanted to lead, so he thought, OK, that'll do me, and he allowed Noble Clubs to stride to the front. Noble Clubs travelling generously to the back, led by a length and a half to Plume d'Orvais, 3/4 to So Fast, who wants to pull a little on the outside, a length and a half Campania, a neck to English Garden, followed by Take Over Battle, 2 to Mr. Money Market, pulling a bit on the outside of My Dark Rebel, and then in the money, and Stark Kayaru is last as they go down the back stretch. 1,100 metres out, Noble Clubs quickening up a bit now by a length and a half to Plume d'Orvais and a half to So Fast, who's well on the steel. A length to Campania on the inside of his stablemate English Garden, followed by Take Over Battle, and then Mr. Money Market, who's pulled pretty hard from the outset. My Dark Rebel is next, in the money being second last, and Star Kayaru whipped them in. At the 800 mark, Noble Clubs, the leader, Plume d'Orvais, got to the girth of the leader. So Fast has to travel 3 wide down the side, followed by Take Over Battle, who keeps pinching runs near the inside and moves to fourth as they come to the corner. Sweeping around them now, Mr. Money Market, and going with it, English Garden. Campania got shuffled back a bit. In the money, has to go pretty wide on the turn, followed by My Dark Rebel and Star Kayaru. Into the straight, Noble Clubs, the leader. Take Over Battle is about to come off the fence, followed by Plume d'Orvais, and then So Fast, Mr. Money Market, and in the money right down the outside. Noble Clubs going strongly at the 200 mark. In the money on the outside is the danger. Here come the Woodland Stud colours again, the All Cerise. In the money is coming after Noble Clubs. In the money hit the lead close to home, and it's another one for the Woodland Stud. This is even better than the chicken business. In the money, drew away to beat Noble Clubs. Getting up for third, Star Kayaru in front of Take Over Battle, My Dark Rebel, Mr. Money Market, and then Campania, So Fast, Plume d'Orvais, and English Garden is back with the tail enders. 4 wins on the day to the Chicken Kings.
So in the money, the unofficial winner there of race 6 at Rosehill, and Johnny Tapp, your caller, calling the shots here at the WAC.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. David Hayes has been quick to pick up where his father left off by training the favourite Better Loosen Up to a brilliant victory in Australia's premier weight for age race, the WS Cox Plate. Father Colin retired a winner with Almirad in the Plate last year. Now David's taken over and triumphed first up with a bit of help from jockey Michael Clark.
A run through the roll call of Cox Plate winners shows up a single common thread. From Far Lap to Dulcify through to Kingston Town, this is a race won by champions. Then again, only champions get to run in the race. Well, of the 11 who ran today, Horlick's status as a mother-to-be earned her plenty of sentimental backing. But Better Loosen Up went out the favourite, though looked anything but until about 400 from home.
They're on the turn now, and the 3-year-olds are claiming Stylish Century. Stylish Century in front round the bend from Canny Lad, who's hit the front now. Canny Lad's hit the front with St Jude, and still running on is Citizen on the outside, and Better Loosen Up is flying home at the end of it. Canny Lad grabbed by Citizen. Better Loosen Up goes to Citizen. Better Loosen Up has taken the lead, and Better Loosen Up has won it from Citizen. Canny Lad is third, the Phantom are flying fourth.
The Hayes camp was ecstatic. The proud patriarch launched into biographical tales about young David.
He won the junior and senior cups, you know, the college cups and all that for athletics. He's a difficult. I don't want to sound up about him.
And the connections posed for any camera pointed their way. Then a hiccup, with the siren heralding a protest. Third against first and second. All was tense for 15 minutes or so, but with the protest dismissed came the cue for a second round of celebrations.
If we can keep this horse on his legs, and he might be around for quite a while. He's got this attitude that nothing will worry him, and he wasn't over. I was more worried about the day than Better Loosen Up. He's just a worker and gets his work done. He's the champion.
A great horse for sure. And next up, the Japan Cup. Well, Bart Cummings' chances of winning an 8th Melbourne Cup improved when the impeccably bred Kingston Rule won the Moonee Valley Cup, and the Flying Filly With Me scorched over the 1,000-metre in course record time in the Moya Stakes. To the earlier results, and the first was taken out by Razor Rhythm. This also trained by David Hayes at 10-9 and favourite, heavily supported, had a good win in fast time. Mammy won the second at 11-1. She's in top form, made it 2 in a row. The third was won by Rockets Galore in a slowly run affair, the filly beating the Colts at 8-1. Arc Regal took the mile event, starting at 9s for Darren Gauci. And now the full running of the Cox Plate.
Racing. Horlicks better loosen up, jumped well near the outside. St Jude away quickly, Lord Revenor a fraction slow. Shazura dropping in. Stylish Century began brilliantly and leads Canny Lad King's Eye as they race down to the post the first time. Horlicks is going up to the lead. Horlicks is second at the post the first time. Stylish Century in front, turning out of the straight to the 1600. King's Eye boots up on the inside. Horlicks just in front of it as they head out of the straight. They're followed then by St Jude on the outside of Canny Lad. Lord Revenor 3 wide around Integra. Citizen next on the inside. A Stylish Century burnt to the lead. Then came Shazura, better loosen up as second last. The Phantom last 1400 to go. And Stylish Century zoomed away. Opened up a break of about 8 to 10 lengths, running up to that turn at the 1200 metre mark. King's High is second. Horlicks 3/4 of a length away third. Then came Canny Lad fourth, the inside of St Jude. About a length and a half then to Citizen. He's being followed by Lord Revenor and Integra. Back behind those horses, Shazura. Better loosen up as back second last. The Phantom is back behind him and being ridden along. Stylish Century raced past the 1,000 metre mark and he's lengthened that break. He's gone out the best part of 12 lengths to King's High, giving chase in second spot. Moving up to third, 3 lengths away, St Jude. Horlicks over on the rails and Lance O'Sullivan niggling at the great mare. Canny Lad pulls out round the outside of her, and then came Citizen Lord Revenor. Better loosen up, spotting them at least 15 lengths down the side, and then the Phantom Integra, and Shazura dropped out last. At the school, Stylish Century. The lead is only 5 lengths now to St Jude. Canny Lad is coming out after him, and then Citizen under the whip. Horlicks is beaten back behind those, and Better Loosen Up is under a lot of pressure. 6 or 7 lengths from the lead. They're on the turn now, and the 3-year-olds are claiming Stylish Century. Stylish Century in front round the bend from Canny Lad, who's hit the front now. Canny Lad's hit the front with St Jude, and still running on is Citizen on the outside, and Better Loosen Up is flying home at the end of it. Canny Lad grabbed by Citizen. Better Loosen Up goes to Citizen. Better Loosen Up has taken the lead, and Better Loosen Up has won it from Citizen. Canny Lad is third. The Phantom are flying.
So the great record of favourites continuing, and certainly Better Loosen Up's name will sit well on the honour roll. Next up was the Moonee Valley Cup.
2 lengths away then came Our Magic Man, and they're followed by Shalea, and then came Batuta. Next is Terrific, and Equidity is struggling as they sweep round the turn, and Flying Luskin and Kingston Rule turn together from Mount Olympus Double Gin. It's Kingston Rule the outside and Flying Luskin in the straight. A terrific battle. Kingston Rule on the outside doing better than Flying Luskin. Kingston Rule drew a neck in front, and Kingston Rule's drawing away to win it. Kingston Rule by a length to Flying Luskin. Shalea's flown home for third.
Kingston Rule has 52 kilos in the Melbourne Cup, but is eligible for a penalty after that strong victory in the Cup today. The sprint was next.
Street Ruffian and Redelva. Show County first into the straight, but With Me's pounced on him, and the filly exploded away. With Me raced away from Show County, and then came Street Ruffian and Redelva, but With Me canters in by 3 lengths. Second placing Redelva on the outside. I reckon Street Ruffian's run third. Close up.
That was an outstanding win to With Me at 4s over Redelva and Street Ruffian, and the last was won by Princess Pushy at 9s by a nose over Fairy Dreams, and Bassie's Pride a little unlucky third. Daily Double today paid $10.50. Extra returned $54.25. Quadrella paid $541. The Quad Extra, $821.15. And nobody picked the last 6 minutes on the program, so that jackpot's for the second week in a row. Cricket, and Western Australia has begun well.
Back to Sports World. Hope you're enjoying the program this morning. Well, they call the Cox Plate the Weight for Age Championship of Australasia. And when you look back through the history of the event, first run in 1922, the great horses that have won it, horses like Farlap, Tulloch, Kingston Town, Dulcify. And yesterday, another very great horse in Better Loosen Up. It was absolutely thrilling to see the way he won. Stylish Century set the race up. They ran the fastest time ever in a Cox Plate. Better Loosen Up came from what looked to be an impossible position with 800 metres to run. It was Michael Clark's second consecutive Cox Plate, and for 28-year-old David Hayes, I guess it was a dream come true. His first runner in a Cox Plate, and he came home a winner.
Better Loosen Up looks spot on. He's always calm and relaxed, and yesterday he was perfect. chasing the greatest prize for a weight-for-age horse in Australia, the Cox Plate. The 5-year-old's challengers included another brave stayer, Siddiston, who was going for the Tobin Bronze Double, the Caulfield Cup Cox Plate. The Phantom, the forgotten horse of the spring, following a single failure. The mighty New Zealand mare Horlicks, with the chance of breaking a world prize money record. The bold front-running 4-year-old Stylish Sentry, and the best of the 3-year-olds, the Golden Slipper winner Canny Lad. It wasn't the best Cox Plate in history, but it was a worthy gathering for such an occasion.
Stand by for a start. They're off. Great start too, and one of the first to get going towards the outside. St Jude bounded out quickly with Horlicks, and Better Loosen Up commenced well. And down towards the inside, Stylish Century is going very fast, followed by Canny Lad, and dropping back a little on the inside as Citizen as they come down to the judge. They were being followed by Integra. A bit further back then, Better Loosen Up has got back to third last on the outside of Shazura, and the Phantom has dropped out to last. Going into the straight, 1,650 metres left to go, and Stylish Century has dashed away. And down the side they travel, Stylish Century setting a merry bid, about for 5 or 6 lengths in advance of Horlicks, who's second on the outside of King's High. A length and a half then to Canny Lad in a handy position. He was followed closely by St Jude. A length and a half, Citizen over on the inside. And then there's a break to Lord Revenue, who's trapped 3 deep, followed by Integra. A length and a half further back then over on the inside. Just behind them is the Phantom last of all, and Better Loosen Up is second last. Now this leader's dashed away past the 1,200. Stylish Century out in his own. Led 15 lengths. King's High is second, 3 lengths to Horlicks. A length and a half, St Jude on the outside of Canny Lad and Citizen making ground. And they were being followed then by Lord Revenue. A length and a half, Integra, followed by Better Loosen Up. Shazura on the inside is second last, and the Phantom is last of all. This leader well clear, coming down the side, 900 to go in the Cox Plate of Stylish Century. He's making every post a winner. He's 10 lengths to King's High, a length and a half, St Jude, followed by Horlicks in the box seater. Canny Lad is making his run, 2 lengths away. Citizen starting to run on. Lord Revenue, hard ridden next is Better Loosen Up, followed by the Phantom. Integra second last as they race down the side past the 600. Stylish Century coming back to the field, led 5 lengths, St Jude a half length to Canny Lad. Citizen now under a bit of pressure, 2 lengths away as Horlicks. They're followed next by Better Loosen Up as they round the home turn, and the Phantom is making ground. Integra back behind them, and they're dropping out to last now as Lord Revenue on the home turn. Stylish Century tackled by Canny Lad, and here comes Citizen with a great burst of speed as they straighten up, 200 to go. Canny Lad about to be tackled by Citizen, and Better Loosen Up is finishing very fast down the outside. Citizen takes the lead, but Better Loosen Up is coming at Citizen. Better Loosen Up on the outside, Citizen. Better Loosen Up takes the lead. Better Loosen Up has won the Cox Plate. A neck to Citizen, Canny Lad third.
It was the fastest Cox Plate in history. The celebrations were delayed for a short time as the third place getter Canny Lad's jockey Shane Dye fired in a double protest against first and second. It was dismissed, and Michael Clark could then savour the moment of a second consecutive Cox Plate triumph.
He's a super horse, this horse, and you know, the owners are great people, and for me and David, our first year together, and it's just, you know, a great thrill for me, and, you know, I'm just terribly excited.
Stylish Century set a cracking pace, a worrying time of when to give chase, Mick?
Well, he was about the 1,000 metre mark when I was coming around the top turn. He'd already gone around the other turn in front of me, and I was giving him a big start, but this horse is all hard, and you know, he's just a credit to ride and a pleasure. It showed in the last 200.
So is it come on Tokyo now?
Oh, for sure.
And he can beat the best in the world?
I think he can, Keith. He really is good.
Yeah, he really is good. Michael Clark talking to Keith Hillier. Well, David Hayes, the trainer of Better Loosen Up, has joined us this morning. David, congratulations. It was really a cracking day for you, wasn't it?
Yes, Bruce, it was a dream come true. To see Dad win it last year in his last year, and for me to win it in my first year, I'm just at peace with the world.
And 28 must be your lucky number. He won it in his 28th year as a trainer, and you are 28 years of age.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose we didn't look at it that way, but yeah, that's true. I didn't realise it took him that long to win one.
Yeah, he had to wait 28 years, and you've waited 3 months, 2 months. I mean, gee, you're going all right, aren't you?
Yeah, I was left with... I started with a little bit better team than Dad did. He did it the hard way. What
about the horse? How's he recovered from the run? It was a very strenuous performance.
I was straight after the race, you know, a little bit concerned for the horse because he's so genuine, and he had to chase and raced, you know, so hard. But when you watch the replay, the last furlong actually was a typical Better Loosen Up last furlong. He had them covered, and he just did as much as he had to. And credit to the horse, we're all amazed at the stable. Hasn't left a note, and he's just his old lazy old self around the stable. He's no different, and considering he pulled 2 plates off in running, he's just so tough.
Does that mean there's a possibility he may run in the Mackinnon Stakes on Saturday as a lead-up to the Japan Cup?
It is a possibility, Bruce. The horse will tell us later in the week whether we run or not, but we won't be running him for the sake of it. He will need a good hard hit out before the Japan Cup, and that may be in the Mackinnon, or we might give him a gallop on the course proper somewhere before he leaves, but we'll make up our mind later in the week.
It's interesting, John, what's been happening with Better Loosen Up and a number of David's horses is they go back to Adelaide, to Lindsay Park at Angaston, and they only come over in the week, don't they, before the race? I mean, it's something that's worked very well for you.
Yeah, well, it's a credit to Lindsay Park and the setup that Dad set up. You know, it's a lot of foresight he's put in, and when you consider we did it with Almerad last year to win the same race, he only arrived, you know, a couple of days before the race, and Better Loosen Up this year, and we did the same with Water Boatman. He was trained right through at Lindsay Park, and he went pretty close in the Caulfield Cup, so the system's working. I'm not that anxious to change it at the moment.
No, I don't blame you. Stylish Century's tactics yesterday. He went out with this enormous lead, and they've run the fastest ever. Were you surprised that he went out so fast?
Well, Bill Mitchell got on the radio and warned everyone, but I was amazed how hard the horse went. You know, I think it brought a lot of very good horses unstuck, but it may have just brought him, you know, Stylish Century. And I thought when they got to him, oh, well, that poor horse is going to run last, and to his credit, he held on to run really just behind the leaders.
Horlicks, now she's going to be retired after that run yesterday. She is pregnant. Now, your father, you know, Colin, I remember special at Netsuki years ago was pregnant and won races. What's your feeling about horses that are pregnant running in these big races?
I think it's an advantage to the fillies. Scarlet Bisque last year, and we had Heavenly View racing, and Leica Western last year, and a lot of these mares, it gives them a second lease of life, and she's only in the very early stages of pregnancy, Horlicks, and I thought that would go in her favour, not against her. It's not as if that, you know, she's carrying around something the size of a cricket ball. Well, that's you know, they eat a lot more than that every day, so I wouldn't have any hesitation. Mapley Heights ran third in the Melbourne Cup pregnant, so.
Yeah. Well, she didn't fire yesterday. It was a very hot day at Moonee Valley. Do you think that may have had something to do with her performance?
She's a terribly genuine mare. She's a 7-year-old mare, and just sometimes they have an off day. The heat, as you say, Bruce, or I don't know. You know, they said that she was thriving going into the race, and she looked particularly well, but putting a line through a New Zealand form probably wasn't quite as strong. The New Zealand form hasn't held up, putting a line through Mickeystown and some of those horses.
Can we just leave the Cox Plate for a moment and look at the Melbourne Cup? Your big horse is Water Boatman. Peter Hutchinson will ride him?
Yes, yeah, the horse races particularly well for Peter, and they've got a great understanding, and Pete's got a lot of faith in the horse, and he's going to stay with it.
Now, Mick Dittman's been suspended this morning, and at this stage won't be riding in the Melbourne Cup. Michael Clark, your #1 rider, it would be a beautiful ride for him, Citizen. Do you think he's got any hope of getting it?
I'm not sure if Michael's considered it, but knowing Michael's nature, he might have called Bob Hoisted, I'm not sure, but he's very hungry. And
would you hold Michael back from riding Citizen if he was given an opportunity?
Oh, certainly not. You know, that's just going to enhance Michael's confidence to get on a horse of that class and, you know, in peak form. But I would say Neville Wilson's in the box seat.
Sure. Water Boatman, now, Colin won 2 Melbourne Cups with Belldale Ball and At Talac, both imported horses like Water Boatman. They both ran on the Saturday. Belldale Ball, I think, in the Dalgety, and At Talac won the Mackinnon Stakes. You're not going to run Water Boatman on the Saturday, are you?
No, Water Boatman's a particularly delicate horse, and once again, there's another horse that isn't suited by training in the city. So I know if I run him on Dalgety Day, he'll run a terrific race, but he just may leave it on the track. So we're going to try and do a Gurner's Lane and not run him between races, and hopefully come up trumps on the day. But you can be sure he'll be very fit when he arrives at the races.
When's he coming to Melbourne?
I think we'll get him here probably on the Friday before the Cup, have a little trot and canter on the Saturday, and a little bit of work on. They've opened up the wood fire before us on the Sunday before the Cup, which is like working on a Thursday normally.
I mean, it's interesting. It'll be a long break between the Caulfield Cup and Melbourne Cup. You've just mentioned Gurner's Lane in '82. You can do it, but how do you know as a trainer that the horse is absolutely rock hard for a 3,200 metre race when he hasn't run for that 3 weeks?
Well, you just basically look at how he finished off the Caulfield Cup. His strongest work was over the last furlong, and you have to know your horses, Bruce, and I think it would, in my opinion, if I ran him as I said earlier, on the Saturday, he wouldn't take it. He takes a long time to recover after races. But you basically have to give them plenty of work at home and take note of their recovery. And this horse has got a particularly good recovery, and he'll be having a couple nice test outs next week when I get home.
OK, good luck. It would be unbelievable if you won the Melbourne Cup and the Cox Plate in your first season. What did Dad say to you last night?
Dad was terrific. He just said well done, and you know, it gave him actually he said that it gave him a bigger thrill than last year, but you tend to forget how thrilled he was. He was pretty thrilled last year.
Well, he'd be as proud as Punch, and why not? Well done. It was a terrific race. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bruce.
David Hayes, and who knows, maybe Water Boatman will be leading them home in the Melbourne Cup. He's a 14-to-1 chance at the moment. After the break, we'll take a look at the Moonee Valley Cup and the other big races from the Valley. Well, the Cox Plate dominates racing at Moonee Valley yesterday, but it's not only the only important event on the program. The Moonee Valley Cup is also considered a reasonable guide to the Melbourne Cup. Last year, Terrific was third in the Moonee Valley Cup, and we all know that he went out and beat his stablemate Superimpose 10 days later. Well, yesterday's Moonee Valley Cup brought together a very good field, and it produced an excellent winner, a horse called Kingston Rule, who now must have some chance in the big race on Tuesday week.
The last horse to win the Moonee Valley Cup Melbourne Cup double was Wodalla 37 years ago. So this race isn't the best form guide when it comes to the great race on Tuesday week. Last year's Melbourne Cup winner Terrific headed the weights, along with the New Zealand stayer Flying Luskin, who earlier this year had won the Wellington Cup. Kingston Rule is arguably the best bred horse in Australia. He's by the All-American champion Secretariat out of the filly who won the AJC Derby Rose of Kingston. And the 5-year-old produced that pedigree in the run to the post.
Double Gin still the leader, moving up on the outside, tackling Flying Luskin, and Kingston Rule is out 3D, putting in his runner. Mount Olympus just been behind them, running on pretty well, followed by Our Magic Man and Shelly Air. Terrific can't go on. They're making the home turn, 450 to go. Double Gin tackled in the centre by Flying Luskin, out 3 deep on the outside. Then is Kingston Rule, followed by Mount Olympus running on, and then Shelly Air, who's come from a long way back as they straighten up. It's Kingston Rule moving up on the outside to tackle Flying Luskin inside the 200. Kingston Rule on the outside has taken the lead from Flying Luskin halfway down the running. They're followed by Mount Olympus, and Chelier is down the outside, but it's Kingston Rule. And Kingston Rule has got the cup one. He wins it well. Maybe Flying Luskin second, a nose to Chelier, and they were followed close up by Our Magic Man.
Kingston Rule has now given the Cup's King Bart Cummings a sniff at a record 8th Melbourne Cup.
Well, he could. He's coming into the race with a pretty strong chance. He's nicely weighted. He's fit at the right time, and he does like dry, firm track, and looks like the weather's come that way.
Is he your only hope now, Bart, in the Melbourne Cup?
I think it's probably my best, Keith.
Well,
Bart Cummings, laconic as ever. Well, Kingston Rule may be re-handicapped by Jim Bowler. We'll find that out in the next day or two. But he's certainly come into Melbourne Cup calculations. As we take a look at the market now for the Cup, this is the latest this morning, Siddiston and Shazora. Shazora was a very good run in the Cox Plate, just behind the place getters, and Siddiston ran a tremendous race behind Better Loosen Up, both at 5-1. The Phantom's back in favour. He ran very well in the Cox Plate. Kingston Rule and Shalaya, they were first and third in the Moonee Valley Cup. Shalaya, another good run. Terrific Frontier Boy. He looked a bit disappointing at Geelong, though he didn't really get a crack at them during the week. David Hayes has already told us that he thinks Water Boatman can run a very good race. Well, he's at 14-1. And then Donegal Mist, who led them up in the Caulfield Cup. And Flying Luskin, who yesterday just might have needed that run because he was scratched from the Caulfield Cup because of the state of the track. So that's the latest Melbourne Cup market. Equal favourites at the moment, Siddiston and Shazora. Well, it was a tremendous day for Michael Clark yesterday, and a couple of other top jockeys. Jim Cassidy won the Moonee Valley Cup, and Darren Gauci was successful in the Water for Crystal. But for a young jockey in Melbourne, it was like a dream come true for him. Stephen King, he rode 2 winners yesterday, 2 important winners, the Herald Vase, and even more importantly, the Moir Stakes on a flying filly called With Me. Let's take a look at the Moir.
The Moir Stakes is one of the key races in Australia that decides the fastest horse. The speedsters were out in force, headed by Show County, Street Ruffian and Good Old Ted. And the filly With Me sat on them, ready to strike.
Show County over on the inside with good old Ted. They're together 2.5 with me, a length and a half. Street Ruffian followed by Rodelva moving up to 5th, and further back in the field West Dancer. Then Gladwell when they come to the turn. Show County on the inside with good old Ted. Here's the filly now with me racing up at the 200 metre mark. Show County took the lead. With me's grabbed it. With me sprinted away now from Show